right, what's going on, y'all? GoofyRhexxi here, and hope everybody is doing well. And wanted to talk about this topic here today. Characters that we would like to see get reworked in Marvel Strike Force. I feel like Marvel Strike Force over the past couple of years, right, has been just like a constant. It's just been rework after rework. Mobile, right? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, we've had a lot of reworks. I mean, I think that last patch that we had, that really long patch, that we're currently in, I think there were more reworks than new characters. So there definitely was. I mean, if you think about it, you know, Star-Lord T'Challa was one character, well, there was 4 Ravagers that went with him, so that was, you know, a 1-to-4 ratio just right there. Right,
and then you had Uncanny, and then of course now there's next is Red Warrior. So just feel like they're kind of starting to rework a lot of these characters now. I feel like I know the reason why they're doing it, but I don't know if that's exactly why they're doing it as of yet. But there's some characters that we would like to see get reworked, and I think it's been a long time coming. But one of the you want to jump into the list?
Let's jump into the list.
All right, let's just jump into the list here. I think probably one of the first characters that I think needs to get a rework here, and this is really kind of prompted even more so by our recent update. As you can see, my sexy looking Kingpin at level 51, gears here.
Look at the size of his hands, though. I mean, that's the thing you really got. I mean, those hands are just huge. I mean, they're like way bigger than his face. Yeah, they're just monstrous.
What does that mean? Like, big hands mean something, right? Is that?
It escapes me. Big gloves, I think.
Big gloves, yeah, that got to be it. All right, that's some palm faces. Either way, definitely feel like he's one of the characters that does need a little bit of a rework. I think we were talking about this before, like a missed opportunity by Scopely, right? A little bit of a missed opportunity.
Well, like, first of all, I know Echo is placed on. She's going to be placed on the Young Avengers, which is strange to me. Now, I know you know her backstory better than I. You know her comic history better than I. I only know her from the Hawkeye show, and I was surprised that she's even a hero, let alone not paired up with Kingpin or have some sort of synergy with Kingpin or maybe even a rivalry with Kingpin. It doesn't really matter. Something with Kingpin, right?
Yeah, definitely. So comic book wise, I feel like she would have fit better on like a new Avengers team. But in fairness, you could probably say the same thing about some of the other characters that are already on Young Avengers too, right? You could say that they're probably some of them are probably new Avengers, but yeah, I mean, the opportunity I feel like would have been to rework Kingpin, throw Echo on a team like that. But I think maybe because of where she is in the MCU right now, that's the reason why they decided to go with her as a hero. But yeah, kind of a missed opportunity, but Kingpin needs a rework for sure.
He was briefly good at the very beginning of the game. I mean, there was this combo of him used with Crossbones, and and that was for like a week. You know what I mean? And then that wasn't very long. I mean, you never even made it past. I mean, you have 18,000 power on him, probably 18,000 too much.
Right. Exactly. And I heard about that team. Kingpin, Yondu, or was it like Crossbones and. Yeah, and even when the Marauders came out, right? He was like the 5th member of not Marauders, the Marauders. He was the 5th member of the Marauders until Emma got released. So I mean, he's had some usage, but still not very good. And I would like to definitely see him get a little bit more love, if you ask me.
Sure, for sure, definitely needs a rework just to make him useful for sure. Yeah, plus there's been an opportunity for him right now, and they just haven't taken advantage of it.
Yeah, 100%. Another character on the list here, and this is, we're stepping into Black History Month, right? So I feel like maybe it's appropriate. I can't even find him on my roster right now, but here he is, Black Panther. We got Black History Month coming up right now. We just had Star-Lord T'Challa coming to the game. Now, there's a rumor that the Wakandans could potentially be getting a rework. I don't know how true that one is, but
Cerebro commented on it, so I mean, you can always take his comment as, he says, I wish they were going to rework the Wakandans. And he says he's had some requirement. I wonder if there's a movie coming out where we could support the Wakandan faction. You know what I mean? So he was like, what does that mean to specifically Black Panther? I don't know.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because, you look at a kit like White Tiger, and every time I play White Tiger, it's like, man, this is everything that Black Panther should be.
Right.
She's dominant on the team. She's fun to play. She feels good.
Right.
When she gets her turn meter rolling, and it's like, yeah, that never really happened with Black Panther. Not the way that her kit just feels like everything that Black Panther should always have been.
Right. Exactly, and I think even more so, like going through some of like the gamma raids, and there's definitely a need for him to be better than what he is right now. I would love to be able to use him in those gamma raids, and we just had Pocket Dimension, and he has a Resolute tag, right? It's just he's the protector of Wakanda, you know. It's the fact that he's not better than what he is right now. It's kind of disappointing. So I throw him on the list. I almost threw Shuri on the list too, but I feel like realistically, just because of where the MCU is right now, I'm not sure where Shuri's going to end up in the MCU. No. So didn't even think. Let's not have wishful thinking of something that probably could not happen. So we didn't even throw on the list here.
Yeah. Makes sense to me.
Yeah, and the next character, one of the next characters, I think, and this honestly, in fairness, this was another missed opportunity by them as well. So we had the WandaVision show, and Vision was in the WandaVision show, and we were hoping that maybe there might have been some sort of love that Vision got, and just never anything. But such a cool character in the comics. Not really living up to that right now, at least not on your side. He's not living up to that. In Rage maybe he is, but none on your side.
Yeah, I feel like this character had the opportunity to be reworked and he wasn't. Should he be reworked? Well, for sure. I mean, Vision is super important and in the MCU, but I don't know. And there's going to be more to that too, right? You know, we're going to see there's going to be more in another continuation. So hopefully we'll see some use for Vision. And he has had some play. I mean, he's always been somewhat of an important character. He was one of the few characters that had an early ability block, but now there's just so many other things that you look at the strength of, Omega Red or something like that compared to Vision right now. It's not even close.
Yeah, and in a lot of ways, I feel like he has a super solid kit. It's just a matter of his stats are just really terrible right now. Granted, looking at this at level 69 giggity, without actually upgrading it, right? But I mean, so the stats are kind of low, but at the same time, I mean, it's just hard. It's there's so much power leap right now. I think his kit is good. I just think it's just the simple fact that he just doesn't have the stats to really stand up in today's meta right now.
Yeah, I 100% agree.
All right, next character on my list here. We're getting close, but this one is a personal one, and I doubt that they will ever rework this character because he is a legendary, but Star-Lord. And I like that we got Star-Lord T'Challa, but Star-Lord was one of my favorite characters to use when first starting to play this game. He was the first legendary I ever got, and as obviously some of you guys can't see, but I've he's just not good anymore, and that's the reason why I never, even though I did the challenge to get him to 7 stars, I never actually upgraded him to 7 stars. But once again, like and maybe it's just me, but legendary characters typically tend to have really good kits, right?
Yeah.
But it's the stats that don't help them to carry and go further in the game after a certain period of time. I feel like once a legendary gets released in this game, about 6 months or so, their stats just really don't add up or stay where they get towards the end game point. And obviously Star-Lord has been that like 3 times more. Yeah,
well, there is going to be more Star-Lord movies, right? There's going to be more Guardians of the Galaxy movies. So there's an opportunity for them to rework him. Yeah, he was important, at the time when, people were going through, what was it, Dark Dimension 2. He was just kind of a staple, paired up with Minerva. It was pretty much all about Star-Lord feeding energy to Minerva, and then the rest of the team was just keeping them alive. And so he did have a kit-based character. He is a kit-based character, but his stats just really haven't held up. And so I don't think it would take a lot for him to be useful again. Some minor tweaks, and then if we also look at Star-Lord T'Challa's kit, some of those mechanics could be added to him, and he would be very playable again. I think McMall recently had a team where he would run both Star-Lords with some of the Ravager faction, and actually had some success with that. So I don't think it would take as much as you would think to make him useful, but no, he's not very useful right now at all. This guy's been on the bench for a minute. Yeah, definitely been on the bench for a while. Once again, for funsies, I used them in Pocket Dimension for like the first 8 nodes. Well, let's be real. The first 6, because after a while, he really wasn't doing anything after that. But you're right. The kit is solid. The blinds would still be useful if you could actually land them, but his focus is so low, right? So it doesn't even. 3,800 on the focus. Wow, that's not going to land anything whatsoever.
Not even worth really. It doesn't really change much with G14 either. But yeah, it's kit's solid. I think most legendaries, even though the older ones are good kits, just not very good stats.
There is a pretty big focus boost going from 13 to 14,
yeah,
and also going from 75 to 80. But I don't know if it's enough.
Right. Yeah, I definitely don't think it is. All right. So last character on the list.
Yeah.
And this is another legendary character. And forgive me because I'm throwing some legendaries here. I'm not even going to concede to peruse down because I don't remember where he is. But Iron Man. Iron Man, one of the most iconic characters in Marvel history.
Yeah.
And he sucks.
You could have made the entire video about this guy and why he's not good and how he needs a rework. I mean, it's terrible, right? It's atrocious.
It's absolutely terrible. He doesn't have a good kit. He doesn't have the stats. There's nothing good about Iron Man whatsoever. And I think it's justice for Iron Man. We've seen OG Spider-Man get a rework now. We've seen Wolverine get a rework. Some of the other most iconic characters in Marvel history. And I think it's time now that Iron Man does something. I mean,
well, how sad is it that on the Power Armor team, like you take out Iron Man
all the
and
time,
put in all, you know what I mean? Like you take out Iron Man because he's the worst member on the team, right?
Yeah.
And then you put in Ultron. So what does that say? I mean, Iron Man should be the best character on the team, you know, and the team should be anchored around him in some way. And, you know, hopefully there is an opportunity because right now we're really struggling with the Doom raids with tech, right?
Right.
And, you know, maybe we get a rework to Iron Man, maybe we get a Hulkbuster or something like that. And then and then it's on, make it a raid tech team. I think a lot of people would be pretty happy with that.
Yeah, 100%. Absolutely. I mean, we've heard that there's some rumors that they're testing out maybe a Hulkbuster. I don't know if that means that he would get a rework. Right. I don't know if that means that he would get a rework or if that would just be a completely new character that they would bring into the game. Although that wouldn't necessarily make a lot of sense because, I mean, Iron Man turns into Hulkbuster. So, all right, let's not get into the nuance of that.
I mean, Iron Man is the reason that I love the MCU, right? And I think in my first love, when, you know, my first introduction to like Marvel as far as being, you know, like where it is today, right? Like, I mean, yes, I was aware of Marvel before Iron Man, but like the real love for the MC, you know, for the Marvel in general came from Iron Man. I love it. And, you know, I'm sure there's a lot of people whose favorite character in all of the Marvel universe, I mean, was all based around Iron Man, and he's just garbage in this game. I mean, it just is what it is, right?
Yeah, it is what it is. So justice definitely for Iron Man, and hopefully they'll make some changes where that's concerned and give him a little bit more love. Now, I don't know. There were probably some other characters that we could have threw on this list. I don't really think that there's anyone that really stands out to me. Maybe potentially. Do you think there's anybody that probably needs a rework that we didn't mention in this video?
I mean, I think the ones that we just mentioned, specifically Iron Man, are the ones that need the most. Especially when there's a you know a lore behind the character and the character is not good. You know, and you know that's for sure. Yeah,
definitely for sure. But listen, appreciate you being on the channel here, Mobile, and dialoguing with me here. Now we're gonna be doing something on your channel, right? I know that's gonna be happening. Can't tell you what it is yet. You got to go watch his channel and just be able to see what that is. But we got to do this more often. This has been a year since we did the last one on this channel.
We got to do something. That's for sure.
That's for sure, man. But appreciate you being here. Listen, you guys know where to find Mobile. Want to know, who do you guys think should be getting a rework here that maybe we didn't mention here in this video? Want to see if you guys leave that in the comments. But of course, as I always say, until next time, guys, y'all be blessed. Y'all be safe.